this morning's meeting by calling the meeting to order at 9:30 a.m. And our only order of business today is to review the TIF management report that has been compiled by Bondry Consulting.
Good morning. For the record, Russell Brown, counsel to the Redevelopment Commission. And Keith Johnson, as you all know, is ill this morning. He has kids who share their cooties like my kid shares his cooties. So he is not here this morning. But I'll walk and then we quickly through this, and then we have Mary Alice from Bondry is here as well to answer any questions that you have. Before you is an annual requirement of redevelopment commissions to approve the TIF management report for 2023. This is a creation of statute. The requirements of the contents are statutorily required and provide the opportunity to disclose publicly activity of the Redevelopment Commission, outstanding bond debt, outstanding fund balances of the various redevelopment areas within the city. I will just make one mention of something unique which is that though the Fort Harrison Reuse Authority TIF district is not under your purview, it is included in this report. But all the other, and that includes the Fort Living, which is also a redevelopment area. It's a single site TIF within the Fort Harrison Reuse Authority area. But those are listed because they are required to be compiled and disclosed to the state. So today is the deadline, which is why we had to have a special meeting. We hope that in years forward we will not have to have special meetings. We'll be able to do this, but there was some information that was not available and not completed by the prior administration, so we had to scramble a little bit to complete that so we could compile the report. So I'll ask Marielle to just give you a little bit more overview, and then our request today would be to ask you to approve to formally approve this and authorize a submission to DLGF.
Thanks, Russell. So like Russell said, this is an annual requirement by statute. It's a pretty straightforward report. It's basically who worked for the RDC, what areas are designated as TIF zones, details on the TIF, how much money was received and spent from the TIF districts, and then year-end total TIF revenues and expenses, fund balances, including any bond funds, and then principal and interest paid, outstanding, and the maturity date for the debt. And then, so this is due today. We have uploaded all the information to Indiana Gateway, so that's all queued in. So as soon as we get your direction that it's okay to upload, we'll go ahead and tell the city controller to put it online.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can walk through the whole report if you'd like, but Russell kind of covered it. I mean, yeah.
We've covered the key highlights that you wanted us to be aware of, correct?
I mean, so let's turn to page 3. I'll briefly go through this.
Okay.
So page 3, just information on the commission itself. There were no commissioners removed in 23, and there were no paid employees of the commission. And then if we turn to page 4, so this section is just general information about the allocation areas that Lawrence has, and then the legal items that are stated in the Indiana Code, and then also why the area was created per the declaratory resolutions. And then if you turn to page 5, this section is just the revenues and expenditures by allocation area. Every fund relating to each of the areas, and then the second table shows the fund balances for every single fund tied to the TIF, and then the year-end fund balances for 23. And then just to note, a few of those one area had multiple funds, and the rest, I believe, were project-specific TIFs. And then page 6, like Russell noted, there's a new requirement for this year, but this isn't applicable to you guys, so. And then the last page, page 7, just this lists all the outstanding debt for each of the allocation areas. One thing to note, for some reason, they make us include principal and interest. Traditionally, you kind of only report principal. So if the amounts look higher, that's why. So, yeah.
Thank you very
much. You're welcome.
I do not have any questions. Thank you for the report.
Yeah, of course.
And I will note, I think one of the goals in upcoming meeting is to walk you through kind of the purpose and the projects that are active in each of these TIFs, given that everyone on the commission is new, to give you an update of what plans have happened and what backstory is on some of those. Obviously, Monarch has been in the news recently on understanding that TIF and the obligations of that TIF as that property gets to be repurposed. So that's one goal that we will have, either in executive session or do it in a public meeting, and just have each of you have a little more backstory on each of these TIFs and what the projects were for them. So with that, again, happy to answer questions, but otherwise we would request that you approve this and authorize it to be submitted. The other obligation that is new under statute this year, in addition to the reporting of the residential TIF, is that this has to be presented to the council, to the fiscal body. We would presume that either Keith or Bondry would do that on your behalf. It'll be scheduled. It doesn't have to be done by today, so there's no special meeting that's required. It just has to be presented to the council, and that will be done at a later date.
Great, thank you very much.
Questions? Okay, I move to approve this report and submit it to the appropriate authorities.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we submit this report to the appropriate authorities. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
That's the extent of the agenda, and we will see you at your regular meeting in a couple weeks.
Okay, well, we'll adjourn at 9:37. Thank you.
Thank you.